this is Leilani Cawthon, your host from the Learning Council. If you're new to us because you're from Montana or from Wyoming, Learning Council is a big media organization in K-12. We do a lot of the biggest research in the nation, and we used to tour the country doing live events, one-day events on campuses all over the country. We never got out to Wyoming or Montana. We have been in Idaho and met a lot of people there. So this is an exciting moment for us because we're virtual right now until maybe the fall we can get back on the road physically. But this is a good time for us to just come together and talk about digital transition, what's working, what isn't working, what does the future look like. We're going to have some basics understanding later today on the EduJedi dictionary work by all of the EduJedi. There's about 400 schools and districts that are members there that are very active in telling us what to think about definitions of terms. So feel free to take a break anytime, keep your browser tab open, come back, ask questions at any time. We really want to have everybody feel like we're together. So we want you to, make comments, put questions in the Q&A, raise your little digital hand. And even if you feel like it's just something that maybe nobody else has asked, that you want to know, just ask it. So we have our sponsors. Some of them have spoken already. Some more will be talking today. Randa, Achieve 3000, Identity Automation, Lightspeed, ClassLink, Scholastic Digital Solutions, and No Story. So we're going to hear again from a few of those today. This is the way our day is going to run. We're going to show a short video right now from one of our sponsors. And then lucky for us, we're going to hear about engaging secondary virtual learners from Mike. Make sure I say your last name right, Mike McManamen. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Perfect. Perfect.
Yay! Nice. From Laramie High School, and then Lisa Klinker and Marie Frick from Laramie High School. This is exciting because it's, a new district to work with us. All right, so we're going to show the video and then we'll be right back.
Oh, hey there. As a teacher, I love my students and I want to see them all succeed. I've been looking for a way to accelerate their Lexile reading gains. But is there a literacy instruction solution out there that not only accelerates learning across subject areas, but is equally effective for all students, despite how complex and different their individual needs are? Take my class, for example. Alex gets frustrated because English is his second language. Sophia struggles to keep up with the class, shaking her confidence and making her hate reading. And James excels at reading, but seems to get bored when he isn't challenged enough. How they learn and grow now will have a massive impact on their futures. To be college and career ready, students need to read at the 1300 Lexile level. But by their senior year of high school, most read between a 910 and a 1210. Here to help is Achieve 3000. It's a literacy platform of solutions for all learners with the tools and content educators need for a precisely differentiated approach to instruction in science, social studies, and English language arts. So how does Achieve 3000 benefit students who learn at different paces in unique ways? It starts with a commitment to equity. Achieve 3000 delivers differentiated content and customizable support for linguistically diverse learners, from struggling to advanced. ESL students like Alex are given the support they need, and Sophia will not only catch up to her classmates but continually progress. Achieve 3000's just right, just on time methodology means an accelerated track to learning, where ongoing assessments continually monitor students' progress and give teachers like me real-time data on their development. As a student progresses from one reading level to the next, Achieve 3000's unique patented technology continually tailors content to their individual growth. Students who use Achieve 3000 can attain up to 3 times their expected Lexile gains over the course of a single school year. Achieve 3000 supports much deeper learning too, by pushing students to use critical thinking and reflection through fresh and engaging content. Learners like James, who already excel in reading, will also grow in their ability to synthesize and problem solve. The results are clear. Research rated strong by Evidence for ESSA has proven that Achieve 3000 positively affects students' performance on state assessments while increasing student engagement, participation, and confidence. On top of all of that, I love that Achieve 3000 is flexible and highly customizable. They have around 2 decades of experience partnering with every kind of district, school, and classroom. With the help of Achieve 3000, James, Sophia, and Alex are all bound for college and the careers of their dreams. And I have a real partner in the classroom to accelerate learning for all of my students.
All right, so just real briefly, Paul, can you tell us how to reach you?
Yeah, let's do that quickly. So, and I'll show up that and share that, but I'll send it out. But you can reach me through email at paul.richens@achieve3000.com, and I'll send that out. So each of these people from Laramie and Idaho have my contact information for sure.
Okay, good.
Good to have you guys on the call, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Paul. Okay, so here we go. So, Mike, I'm going to have you share screen. All right, so I'm going to stop share. Now you share, Mike. I want to make sure. Okay, good. We're starting to see your screen. All right, we see it. Okay, I'm going to put myself on mute while you guys brief us.
All right, so everybody can see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I want to welcome everyone to Engaging Secondary Virtual Learners. We are coming to you from Albany County School District number 1 in Laramie, Wyoming. Give you a little bit of background of our district before I introduce our what I consider my 2 online teaching superstars. We our Albany County School District, we have 13 schools, 800 staff, have about 4,000 students. Starting last fall semester, our elementary schools have actually been face-to-face full-time. And our high school and our middle school have actually been in a hybrid model we called our AD schedule. So we have half the kids on one day and the other half the other day. And then the expectation is that the students have things to do on their virtual, we call it the virtual days. We use Fridays as an intervention and enrichment day where we try to get the face-to-face kids. But we do have a lot of kids that are just completely online. And so you can see we have about 354 students online, 200 secondary, so 200 middle school secondary students. We call our online program CBVI, which stands for Classroom-Based Virtual Instruction. And really why we designated with that is our CBVI teachers meet in PLCs with the classroom teachers. So we give the same, try to stay on as close as we can, give the same common assessments and things like that. So we try to stay as connected as we possibly can. So you can see the map up there. We're located in southeast bottom of Wyoming, southeast by Cheyenne, by Fort Collins. And so again, I am Mike McManamen. I'm an instructional facilitator at Laramie High School. Part of my job this year, it's been very fun, is to help support and organize the middle school and the high school teachers that are teaching online. And I begged and talked my 2 presenters, Marie and Lisa, into presenting today because they truly are, in my opinion, one of the best in our district at delivering this instruction to our online students. They build relationships and they create a culture that is second to none. So I'm going to let them talk a little bit about themselves and then we'll get started. Marie, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Marie Frick, and I've been in the district for many years, but in special ed and gifted ed. I'm the 6th through 8th grade English teacher.
I'm Lisa Klinker, and I've been in and out of the district of Albany County for about 15 years. I was a paraprofessional right after I student taught at the middle school, and then I took a long extended time to be home with my family and raise my 2 boys. And now I've been back. This is my 3rd year teaching back at the middle school. And I teach science, and currently I'm doing 6 through 8 science, so 3 different subject areas and 3 grades online.
Okay, so this is kind of what we're going to be talking about today. Hopefully we can get through everything that we want to. So when we talk about engaging students, we know that in the classroom that's difficult enough, but it's even more of a challenge when you're teaching virtually. So again, we're going to spend some time talking about some of the successful ways that we have found to get kids engaged and to interact with the curriculum and the activities. And so we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that. I'll start talking about what LMS system we use and some things to think about no matter what LMS system you're using. We're going to talk about how to create that culture and build community, which really is a big connection to that engagement. Synchronous learning compared to that asynchronous and how important it is for engagement to try to get those kids synchronous as much as you can. And then we're going to spend some time talking to you about the tools that we use in our district. Now we know that every district has different tools, so we're not going to spend, the nuts and bolts of how to use a tool, but in terms of thinking about what tools are out there and how they can be successful in really engaging those students. And then if we have time, anyone has any questions, we can try to answer those. I'm going to let the other two do most of the talking, and I'll try to monitor as much the question and answers. So if you have any, you want to put them in there, I will stop our presenters and try to get those asked. And also know at the very, I'm going to put in the Q&A a link so you can copy our presentation if you would like to. It's a Google slide, so you would have to copy into your Google Drive. If you don't have that, I can probably get it to you in a PDF or something like that. And on the very last slide, you're going to see it has some resources that, that some of the things we're going to talk about today that you can take a look at. So with that said, we'll go ahead and get started with the first topic here. So we're going to take a look at LMS. So an LMS, learning management system, we use Canvas. And I know, different districts, some use Schoology, some use Google Classroom, and I know there's others. But it is important no matter what LMS system that you use, you want to really keep some things in mind. And here's what we found in our district, that less is more. You want to really keep everything simple and clean. So when the students land on your page, there's just not a lot for them to click on. There's not a lot of confusion that they are going to have. And so the page that I have up here on the slide, this is actually Marie's 7th grade. And notice a couple things. The menu items over here, very few of them. We have in Canvas, you can put up 25 things there if you wanted to. But we have very few because we don't want them clicking into a lot of places. There's one announcement at the top, and then we just have one module published with the activities for the week. So again, that's important. Landing page on the home page, this is what they see. A couple things on the to-do list. So again, that's important. Whatever learning management system you use, keep it simple. And another thing, in the activities themselves, we really try to get our teachers to embed everything. In other words, if we're going to have them watch a video in an assignment, we don't want them clicking and then getting out of Canvas and going to YouTube or somewhere else. So we really work on getting those things. So when a student's in Canvas, that's where they stay. So again, just a couple quick tips on that. No matter what LMS, man, keep it simple. So again, building culture and community, so critical. How do you do that in an online environment? We know that as classroom teachers, we've worked on that for years, but it really seems challenging when we're trying to do that virtually. So again, I'm going to let I think Lisa start talking about how she does that, and one of the things that she uses is bell ringers.
Right. Early on in the year, so it was very apparent when the kids came in, they did not want to talk to me. They were not super anxious in getting all their thoughts across to me, so I have to pull it out of them. And one of the things I notice is that every class meeting, I have to have some kind of check-in activity just to see how they're doing, what their thoughts are, how things are going. So a social emotional check of some kind, but then also having some kind of icebreaker that gets them talking so that when we go into the lesson that I'm doing during that synchronous time, they're actively participating. And so some of the tips that I have for that I always have a scale, some kind of funny scale. Like the one that's showing is the guinea pig scale. So on a scale of guinea pig, how are you feeling today? And then the kids go through and tell me how they're doing on that scale. And then they tell me something good. One of the things I really want to stress is building that community is such a two-way street. So kids, I have to model it for them as well. And sometimes I have to say my scale before them to get them talking, but I always make sure that I share how I'm doing so that we can build that connection. So every time, sometimes I do would you rather. The kids really seem to like the would you rather questions. And sometimes I can relate them back to my science content. Other times they're just silly. Like today is talking about ducks and bears. And so it's not science related, but it gets them talking and communicating with each other.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
And like Lisa, I start off with some kind of question and how they're doing. Sometimes it relates back, like when we were talking about their winter break, we were starting to work on word choice in English. And so I had them say in exactly 6 words how they felt. And just to bounce off what Lisa was saying, it's totally worth any amount of time that you actually spend at the beginning of your class, even though it might not be the curriculum that you're trying to get across. It's worth spending those 10 minutes to make sure to do that social emotional check-in and see how the kids are doing, especially since this is their connection with us. And just a little background is that we usually don't, with middle schoolers, we found that having them have to have their cameras on doesn't always work, but they sometimes participate more when they aren't required to have their cameras on. And this is, we're going to talk about this a little bit, but this was on a Jamboard where they were able to add their little parts for their icebreaker.
Yeah, Maria, I like where somebody put it was windy with no snow. That could be about every day this winter, right?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
So one of the terms that we use a lot in our district that you probably heard is synchronous and asynchronous. So what we really try to get our CBBI, our online teachers, to get as many synchronous opportunities, because we found students will engage more with each other and with the content if we can figure out ways to get them on together. Where asynchronous, again, is where they're working on things on their own at any time. So again, the synchronous we found very powerful, but coming up with ways to do that other than just Zoom has been challenging. And again, these guys are going to talk about a couple ways that they do that.
Right. So in my synchronous settings, so every week we have class meetings, and the class meetings are designed, I use them for practice time. So practice what we've been learning through our asynchronous assignments. And so based off of there, I break them out into breakout rooms and I'll give them some kind of activity to complete, or maybe it's a discussion. On this slide, you can see that I have one example where as a class, we made a consensus model in Jamboard. And then another one, just dragging and dropping, and then we could talk about the whole carbon cycle and the water cycle. And then another one in physical science, just assigning, talking about the information that you can find on a periodic table. So really, I can just snippy tool any worksheet that I really loved in the building and put it on a Jamboard and have the students work together. So it's recreating the classroom, but digitally. And I use that synchronous time to make sure that we're doing those activities that we would normally do in a classroom, like the pair and share or building something together, sense-making activities. So this Jamboard, which I'll talk a little bit about in another slide, gives me that opportunity where kids can participate with each other, and then I can guide them through this synchronous setting.
Were you ready
Okay.
for me to go, Lisa?
Thank you. And so Jamboard is probably the tool I use the most. I do have about 4 or 5 in my tool belt that I reuse almost every week, but Jamboard is consistently there. Every class meeting I have is on a Jamboard. It's for organization for me, and then gives the students opportunity to also participate with me. So I like to think of my Jamboards as a way for me to connect my PowerPoint, the chalkboard in the building, the whiteboards for the students that we had individually in the classroom, all in one. So this gives me every opportunity to do that. And so here are some examples that I've used. One of the examples is a driving questions board. So we build driving question boards all the time in science in the classroom. And so I've put this, and usually it's an asynchronous, but then in one of our class meetings, we'll talk about it and we'll go back and look to see if we're addressing all the questions. Another one is sometimes I'll just post a question in Jamboard. What is happening to my body when I do bicep curls? And so I was doing bicep curls on Zoom, and as I was doing that, I was prompting the students to ask them what is going on with my body? What is partaking for me to be able to do this? And so as I was prompting them, they were putting their sticky notes in there to tell me everything that was going on. And then we would put all these connections together. So I just share the link with them, and then they join in and work with me.
And again, Jamboard is a Google tool that, again, our district, that's our Google is a platform that both our teachers and students have access to. And I think we did have to put Jamboard on there extra, but that's kind of, again, very popular with our teachers and with our students. Oh, and by the way, there is, I think Lisa put on the very last page of the slides, and I just shared our slides in the chat. If you click on it again, it should let you make a copy. On the very last page, there's a tutorial how to use Jamboard, and there's also, I think, a link to one of Lisa's Jamboards that you can look at and see how she used. So awesome. Marie, talk to us a little bit about how you use Google Slideshow.
So one of the things that I've been needing to do with my sixth graders especially is having a way for them to share their opinions on the books that we're reading. Our curriculum is wit and wisdom, and so there's a lot of discussion. And I found that with discussion, sometimes they weren't actually reading each other's comments as much as I liked. So we put together a shared Google slideshow where they're all able to add to the slides. And often what will happen is during a synchronous class, we will start and work together to put things onto the slides. And then as their homework, they're able to go in and add their opinions on different things. So we can build those, if we're looking at a character, we can keep adding to that character as we learn about them through the novel. The other thing I really like about this is I'm able to look at the Google Slideshow's editing, and I can see if the kids are participating or not, because even though you tell them, please make sure you put your name on there, they don't always remember to do that. So Google allows me to keep that. So this is an example of our historical novel we're working on. And the kids keep adding to this. We've done this with, conflict in the stories. We're working on it with some of text-dependent questions and some of the bigger questions and big ideas. And the kids seem to like that better than just, here's this assignment, write to me, and I'm the only one who sees it. This is really, it's hard to figure out how to get them to be able to share their ideas. That's such a big, important thing in discussions we don't have enough time to have all of our discussions synchronous. So that's why we do it this way.
Awesome. Thanks, Marie. Another tool we use is Nearpod, and I think again that was a subscription that our district has that integrates right into Canvas, which is nice. And Lisa, go ahead and talk to us about that.
Sure. Nearpod I typically use in asynchronous fashion. You can do live Nearpods. I think I've only done one so far. So this would just be to back up my asynchronous learning. So there's an app that you can put in when you do your Google Slides. It'll attach to Nearpod, which makes it nice and handy. And so some of my old updated Google Slides or PowerPoints, I'll put into the Nearpod, and then I'll include activities. So check for understanding. Did they get the information off that page? What did they learn over here? And then there's several types of activities. There's quizzes, there's fill in the blank, matching. You can import videos, and you can even put in little activity flags in the videos where it will say, "Are you listening?" Or you can put in your own question. What did you get from that? Or what, and some kind of follow-up question. So it's just a nice way to incorporate a lot of tools into one area, and the students don't have to click into lots of different links. It's just all right there for you.
And the other thing you can do with the Nearpods is if it is a slideshow and you have kids with a little lower reading levels, you're able to put, you can put narration onto it that they can click onto. So I use it to give those extra materials that connect with our lessons. And it's a way to make sure the kids are going through a slideshow and you're doing those checking for understanding rather than just doing it as a video where you talk at them. So, and you can do those checks with quizzes. And there's another one where they can like draw and circle. There's a draw it kind of app. So with the Hoovervilles, I had the kids make a map of a Hooverville, which was kind of fun.
There's also PhET simulations that I use in science in the Nearpods. It's really handy.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that we're still even learning about. One of the things we highly recommend, if your district has Zoom, we do use that to record some different sessions that we can, again, make into a video, embed into Canvas. Again, another Google tool that we have is Screencastify, and Marie's going to talk to you about how she uses that.
Oh, Screencastify is amazing. I hardly ever record from Zoom anymore. So this enables you can share your screen top and make a video, or you can just have the webcam on. I use it to do Monday messages to my students, letting them know what's coming up for the week. A really great way to use it is to take something that the kids have done and you have to do that reteach, and you can do a video special lesson very easily and use a pointer tool or a circle or something to focus them in on what it is you want them to do. So it's a way of giving video feedback without overloading our LMS with those video feedbacks.
Awesome. And I see we have a couple minutes of time here, so I'm going to kind of go through a little bit quicker. Student collaboration, Canvas discussions. Lisa, real quick on that.
Yeah, this is the way that I can have student connections in an asynchronous time. I'll assign discussions through Canvas. And some of these discussions are based off a video that I embedded or articles. One of the examples here is a quick research project. So I had the students picking a single-celled organism and doing some quick research on them. And then one of the things that I'll do next week is follow up and do a speed dating in our Zoom time and just talk about what we researched and what we found. And the kids can like and reply. And I often have to specify to the students, you must reply to 2 of your classmates. Otherwise, the discussion is just them doing their part, and then they don't go back and revisit. So you have to be specific in your directions, but it's just another way. And I think that students really like seeing other kids' responses. Another way I've used it is include your model in the discussion, and then peer reviews happening with the discussion. It's been really nice.
Just real quick, one of the things that your LMS system probably has in Canvas, we have analytics where you can go in and really see if students are engaging. So if you want to know, how long do they spend in a video, how long do they spend on an assignment, it has all of that stuff in there. And that's, in fact, one of the ways that we kind of balance a little bit of taking role. And we did that a lot last spring, is just going in and see if they access things and how long they spend on it. You guys want to add anything quickly to that? Good. Everyone knows this, the parent and student communication is critical, whether you're face-to-face or whether you're CBVI online learning. You got to, figure out ways. We've decided Lisa is the master of this. Our middle school people work so close together to really try to get those kids to communicate with them, with their parents, and try to get them to engage. So, it's critical. And there's just different things we have in Canvas right from the grade book. You can message people We have the text service Remind that some of the teachers are using because kids don't check email all the time. So they, use that Remind app, and sometimes that helps as well. But figuring out how to get that communication is definitely critical. So again, the last thing we have on the very last slide, I put that link in if you want a copy. We have some different tutorials. I think Lisa gave one of her Jamboards, Marie her slideshow, and some different things on if you're more interested. And again, if you have any questions, I would recommend reaching out. We're happy to answer anything. We put our email addresses on there, and hopefully it was fast and furious in this half hour, but we're hoping you guys got some things out of this. And like I said, you've heard from two of our best. So thanks for your time. And I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat. So I guess we're all set.
Yeah, there were some great comments that happened along the way. And I want to thank you guys. And I want to comment on the fact that it's really a positive to see that you're concerned about navigation, student navigation. That's huge. And that you're sort of electrifying the interaction with all these different tools when you're with the students. Those are really best practices. So excited to see that by you, Maria, and by you, Lisa. This is really awesome work. So thank you guys for sharing all of that with us. And stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more happening later today. There's a lot more education speakers